Nick said that he has given speeches, I think, on walkthrough day to the team before each game, and he said that his first one, I think for the Chicago game, he was pretty proud of it. He said he thought he did well. Have you been in on these speeches that he gives to the team, and what would your evaluation of them?
Yeah, Nick does a great job, but that's just for the team. That's about as far as it needs to go. But Nick does a great job of speaking to the team when he's asked to. Nick is one of our captains, one of our team leaders, not only by his play on the field, but also just the person that he is and the respect that he has in a locker room. So just a great guy to have as a captain who truly leads by example.
Have this, or you kind of know this defense? Are there parts that he's still learning, or is he kind of? I know you talked about playing at Jacksonville, so he has some familiarity.
Oh, Gip has come in. He's a veteran, right? So he's seen a lot of ball. He's played in a lot of different schemes, did a lot of things different from that safety position. But the thing that sticks out with him, he's a very smart player, right? And he has a great feel for the game, just instincts. He can make plays all over the field just based on above the neck, just being smart, understanding what the offense is trying to do to him pre-snap. So he's able to put himself in position to make plays that way just by being a very smart player, a veteran who's seen a lot of different things, and he knows how to play the game the right way.
Last week we were asking you about why you're playing Seattle without Russell Wilson, and now here he is. He looks like the same guy to you?
Yeah, I mean, Russell is Russell. Like, one thing about Russell is continuing to watch him. Like, he still is great at, probably the best at being able to extend plays, right? And guys are able to find that soft spot in the zone, and he's able to hit defenses who are not quite on it and create explosive plays. So for us, that's one thing we've been harping on is just Russell is still Russell, right? He can make you pay if you're not on it. So we have great amount of respect for Russell and the player that he's been, the playmaking ability that he's been able to do throughout his entire career. He's still that guy. So we have to be on top of our game defensively, all right, or he'll make you pay.
With Talanoa, I don't know if there's a way to break it down, but he seems like he triggers really fast when he recognizes something. How much of that is, the studying, the work that he puts in, and how much of that is, do you think, just instinctual and it's in him?
Yeah, it's both for Huff, right? He is very great at preparation throughout the week, right? He's always into it. He's always asking questions, trying to figure out just how many nuggets can he get, right, to get another step, to see what the offense is doing. And then he goes to the field, and he's able to process things in a fast way that allows him to trigger, right, and make plays. So Huff, he doesn't hesitate because of his preparation throughout the week, right? That's what allows him to light up on game day, right? And that's the guy you see. That's just a culmination of all the prep that he's done in the background when no one's watching, right? You see that, show up on game day, just a guy who plays with his hair on fire. He's everywhere, all over the field, making plays. Probably everybody's favorite player just because of the plays that he's making, right? And he's definitely a spark of energy for our entire team just because of the way he's played these past 2 weeks.
You say he looks for, any small thing. Can you just give an example of what something might be?
Just an example. I mean, things that he's looking for, if it's like a certain alignment by a tight end, he wants to know, hey, if it's a certain motion, like what are they doing off of that motion? So he's always asking, very great questions in meetings, always engaged, always, making sure me as a coach, I'm on top of my P's and Q's as well, right? Because he's gonna ask some good questions.
What do you think his biggest improvement is since last year?
I think his biggest improvement overall, I think, is his communication and his confidence. I think just being out there and playing, like you have to play the game to gain that confidence, right? And he's got a lot of reps throughout off season and working with everybody on our defense, right? And it means a lot to him, right? That's why he's gotten better, right? He's staying out when everybody else is in the locker room. He's out he's grinding. Why, always grinding, always working, and it shows on Sunday, right? When you see guys show up on Sundays, it's because of the preparation that they're doing behind the scenes. And Huff is one of the best guys at prepping throughout the week that I've been around.
He was Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Why was he still hanging around in the 5th round?
I don't know why he was hanging, but I'm happy we grabbed him.
Do you anticipate the elevation playing any kind of factor on your defensive lineman, especially like in that second half? And do you anticipate altering the game plan in terms of rotation patterns?
Yeah, with the elevation, we try to rotate our guys already, try to keep them fresh as possible, and with the elevation, that definitely plays a factor. So we will be rotating our guys just as normal and making sure everybody is fresh when they hit the field. So from that standpoint of preparation, I don't think it's much you can do to prepare for it, right? Just being in a different climate zone here, so it's not much you can do to prepare for it, but just for 3 hours, right? That's what football is about. For 3 hours, no matter what the elements are, right? Can you stand up and go dominate, right? Go perform for 3 hours.
Last week, going back to the Denver Texans game, Russell was able to make the Houston defense, jump off sides 3 times with the hard count, even his own team twice. What makes him so good with that hard count? How do you prepare for it?
You have to be aware of it, and you have to understand that he is going to hard count you, so you can't trigger on sound. That's how you prepare for it. You got to key the ball, and when the ball is snapped, that's when you go, right? You can't trigger on sound. You can't relax at all with Russell because he's so great at the hard count. And him being at home, right, he can use that to his advantage. So we are aware of that. We have to make sure we're on top of it because that's how, again, he gains explosive plays by the defense not quite being on it, and he's able to take advantage of it.
DeMeco, you obviously know DJ Jones very well, and he's going to be opposite a young, unproven interior offensive line. What can they do to kind of subdue him, and just what are your thoughts on him as a player?
Yeah, DJ is a tremendous player. Right, love working with DJ for past 4 or 5 years. Just working with him, he's a great guy. Off the field, really great guy and a really great player. The thing I think for our guys prepared for him, they just have to work together. Right, just understand nobody's out there by themselves. DJ, he may make a few plays. We just have to make a few more plays than him, try to keep him out of our backfield.
2 games in, Javon Kinlaw, what have you seen from him in his improvement, and how has he been affecting the game?
Yeah, Kinlaw's been improving every week. What I see from Kinlaw is growth, it's steady growth each and every week. He's doing a great job in the run game, playing with good pad level. Like, he's doing a great job of affecting the quarterback when he does get there. He's doing a really good job of affecting throws by getting his hands up at the proper time to forcing errant throws. So I'm happy where Kinlaw is going. And it's exciting because I see him continuing to get better. Right? That's the cool part about him. He's getting better and better. So, who knows what it'll be, mid-season, end of the season, how good he'll be playing. But I think it's gonna be really great for us. All right. Thank you, guys.
He's been pleased with how Aaron Banks is playing. What have you seen from him in his rookie years? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about it in the off season. Just it's a developmental process. So he's got a couple games in, and he's made steps every game. There's always stuff to work on, and but he's made some nice strides these first 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks, 17-game schedule, and hopefully a postseason. So we have a long way to go, but he is developing. I was talking with him the other day, and he actually commented on. I said, "How's it feel getting game reps?" And he said, "Man, it's different. As much as we practice, as much as we work on things, the speed of the game, they've got other things to look at, using the offense here, whatever the things were. So he's been benefiting from the game reps, I think, and he's feeling the benefit, and also feeling, oh boy, these problems are these things that I need to work on. I can see why I need to work on them because they're showing up. So it's been good for him. It's been a good process."
Obviously, Jimmy's been around for a while, but we have an offensive line that has spent the whole offseason working with Trey Lance, who's a very specific style of quarterback who can run and things like that. You get Jimmy, who maybe doesn't do some of those things. Are there teaching points that you have to kind of recalibrate with your group?
There's not much. It's really just primarily in the running game, and protection-wise, it's pretty much the same stuff. Kyle, the way he coaches the quarterbacks and the drop-back passing and play-action game is very consistent. The run game, and we try to build the run game all of it so that it all kind of marries anyway, even though we go zone read or other things with the quarterback. There's some unique, but all of it has carryover to parts of our base offense anyway. So some minor technique things that we won't have to work on as much anymore that we probably won't have a running quarterback. So that's it. But as far as the rest of it, in the pocket, mobility, that stuff, it's not much of a change at all.
You were talking, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, about basically a catalog of plays that you guys have built. Is it just a matter of just taking different plays out of that catalog that suit Jimmy as opposed to Trey?
Well, the pass game is, obviously the passing game, and obviously they're going to do the things that work for both those guys. But the run game, yeah, there's just some of the plays in the catalog that are specific for quarterback runs probably won't be a part of our plan as much anymore. Although Jimmy did score against Chicago last year on a quarterback read play, and God, he scored twice. He scored on a play that should have gone to Debo, and then he scored on one that was a design quarterback run play. So Jimmy has the ability to run it a little bit, just obviously not as dynamic as Trey.
How would you just kind of describe the running back core right now? You lose Mitchell the first week, you lose Ty Davis-Price last week, but you have Mack, now you have Coleman back. So
yeah, I need a program and a depth chart to know who's up for sure. So it's been rough at that position for those guys. Unfortunately they've suffered some injuries, and some guys they'll all be back, but it's been tough. So those guys all I said it last week as with Ty last week, and they work really, really hard, man. They come out there every week. They work to understand. They know with Kyle's system, the yards are there for guys if you're willing to learn and to listen and to do what we're supposed to do. So, he really is. All the guys are doing it, but yeah, Tev is back, and he has familiarity with Kyle both from Atlanta and here, and then Mack has been here, and excuse me, he's obviously learning right now and going through that process.
Show you last
Jeff's awesome. I mean, Jeff's one of my favorite guys on the football team. In fact, my son came to visit during training camp, and immediately his favorite player was Jeff Wilson. You just can't help but, and he's in his 20s. He's not like a 10-year-old or something, so obviously. But he absolutely, Jeff's just a wonderful guy. I mean, I remember at the end of what was the Arizona COVID year? 2020? Was that the year we were stuck down there? And we played Arizona, and they had everything to play for, and we were really out of it. And Jeff Wilson just took that ball and pounded him. I mean, I love the way Jeff does. Now, Jeff's thing has been, as all of it, it's durability. He runs like a big back. He runs physical. He runs tough. Jeff Wilson comes to work, every day with a smile on his face, a real pro, a joy to be around, and it's just so great to have him back there. You just have to always be Jeff's, all of them. You just can't wear them out. That's why you got to have a couple guys back there that can tote the rock. Even on the good running teams, when you look at Cleveland, who's an excellent running team, they've got the two runners. You've got Chubb and you've got Hunt, and traditionally, LaDainian Tomlinson, there was another guy with LT. There's traditionally always a second guy, so it's not going to be Jeff Wilson just toting the mail every single snap.
Nervous because it's Jeff Wilson and kind of some question marks, and you just said
I've got more to be worried about than who's carrying the football. There's a lot. We've got to block the two edge rushers and things like that. But no, it's obviously there's a learning curve for guys. I use that word a lot, but there is. Guys that haven't been here have to learn. So you hope that they do well, and not nervous, but excited for them. They have an opportunity, excited that they get a chance to show us what they can do, and then hopeful that they do the right things.
Is J.P. Mason ready to be that number 2 guy if called upon?
Like with when you guys, all offseason, when you guys, that's a bad term. When I was asked in the offseason about, the guards, right? You don't know till they're playing. So JP showed some promise. That's why he made the football team. That's why he's here. Shows good things in practice. Saw some nice runs in the preseason and things like that. So now we'll have to see when he gets in with, live bullets. If Sunday Night Football, bright lights, the whole nation watching, the whole league watching, let's see what happens.
Ty's injury, a surprise. It's a fairly significant injury in that he's going to miss a few weeks, but I don't think he ever came out of the game because of the injury. I think Kyle even said we didn't know until like Monday.
Yeah, we didn't know. So it is surprising when they said the length of time and what the nature of the injury was. It was surprising, but hey, it is what it is. Tough kid, played through it, and maybe if he hadn't, it would have been better. I don't know, but it's too bad for him. But hopefully he comes back fast.
What have you observed? Greasy obviously has spent his life in football, so he knows the game, but has never been officially a coach. What have you observed from him just as a coach?
Brian's been awesome. He really has been. I'm not going to stand up here and, he's a terrible coach. He should have stayed in the booth. I'm not going to say that, but he obviously, he's done a really good job, honestly. He has. He's embraced it. I'm sure there's days where he wonders, what are we still doing here after 16, 17, 18 hours? I can't speak for him, but I think there's days where he probably wonders that. I see the look in his face like, is it always this crazy? But he's been great, man. He's been great with the players. He adds a perspective. He's all in. He's very honest. He's very professional. He's got his opinions. He speaks them. There's nothing better than to have a guy that's willing, has an opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent, and he's willing to speak them, because we do need everybody's thoughts and opinions as Kyle's trying to formulate how we go forward. And Brian's not afraid to do that, and he gives a perspective both as a former player and now being close to these quarterbacks and having a connection because of that former player. It's been really, really cool to watch he and Clay Kubiak work with these guys, and Brian's done a great job.
Mark
You mentioned the guards, they and, the interior offensive line as a whole are going to have really their first true test of the season up against DJ Jones on Sunday. How do you prepare them for a player of that caliber, and how do you think they're going to rise to that challenge?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm really excited we talk about guards so much. Secondly, you said first challenge of the year. All the first 2 games were great challenges as well, because the last 2 guys, those guys were giants in there, and they were a great challenge for our guards. Obviously, DJ is a great player. We have great respect for him, as well as the other players on the interior of their defensive line. The challenge is going on the road, the crowd noise, like I said, the bright lights, all the attention, the focal point. Hey, the guys have played good the first couple games and all those things, and now it's only 2 games. And yes, it's been against some quality opponents. Whatever, I'm not going to go into that, but the guys, it's going to be a challenge for them. It's always a challenge. It'll be a challenge all year long. You go through a couple good games, then you have a bad game. I said it to Aaron in the offseason particularly. I said, hey, Banksy, I said, at some point, you're going to go through this process, you're going to be playing well, and all of a sudden, you're going to hit the skids. All of a sudden, the wheels are going to feel like, oh my God, are the wheels coming off? Am I going to be able to survive it? It's your first year playing full time. And then all of a sudden, you'll either come back from that, or you'll be standing next to me on the sideline. And that's what's going to determine this season for you. And so far, so good. But at some point, maybe it doesn't ever wobble. But I coached Trent Williams in his rookie year. It wobbles as a rookie. I promise you that. So,
Is it to play at that elevation?
I went to school at Colorado State. And so I would say when I would come back, I lived in Arizona, so I would come, what am I talking about? 40 years ago. But anyway, when I came back, I think the altitude still was the same back then. When I came back, it was always, there was a couple days, you feel it. But it's not like it stops you from doing anything. You just are like, it's weird. It's like, you can't, I don't know, get on a treadmill and you go up there. You'll see yourself. It's kind of you just can't quite feel like you're catching a full breath, but it's not like it's debilitating. That's always been my experience with it. You guys want to talk pass sets? We're good? Okay, thanks, guys.